entered my recipe in the Grainfather website under a new recipe. I then saved it and it came up on my Grainfather app on my phone, and I clicked start brew session, clicked the recipe, and it's telling me that I now need to add in 17.4 liters of water. So you can see there's the liters marking just here, so it's quite handy actually. Okay, so that's 17.4 liters in the Grainfather. I hit start on my app to start the heating. You have to turn this little button on to turn the heating element on, and it will automatically raise the temperature to 67 degrees, my target mash temperature. You can hear it working and you can see it getting hot already at the bottom. You can see that. It's amazing. So it reached the temperature, it beeped quite loudly, and it's now telling me to add the grain. So here goes. So as you can see, I've got the grain stopper in. That will stop any of the grain going down the overflow pipe. Okay, so now you have to put the second mesh screen over the top. Again, wet this so that it slides down easy. The first one was quite tricky, so I'm hoping this is going to be easier, but let's see. I think just so it just sits on top of the mash. You can remove the grain stopper. And then next up you have this piece. This is the top of the overflow pipe. So you just put this down on here. And then push it down until it sits nicely on the mesh filter there. Perfect. Next up, the lid. I'm going to put this on. And then finally, the sparge arm. So this tube just goes off to the side inside. So that's on there nice and tight. You can see that the tube's off to the side. So now I will press start mash on my phone app, or you can just press set on the control board. I'm going to use the app. So there we have it. It's started the mash. The pump is turned on automatically. You can see that it is recirculating the wort. It's fantastic, yeah. So the temperature dropped a little bit, so the heating element is turned on and it will heat it back up to 67. Everything looks to be working well, so we just need to wait an hour. And in the meantime, I need to heat up some more water. for the sparging. So the mash completed, and now it is raising the temperature for a 10-minute mash out at 75 degrees. I'm not sure if you can see, but that wort looks so clear. It's pretty impressive. Okay, so the mash out is complete and I need to pull the grain basket out. We'll use this handle. Slots into the 2 holes there. Make sure my back is nice and straight because I think this is going to be heavy. Then you just twist it. It's got little legs on here. That means you can just sit it on top. Wait for that to drain out. You can see. You can track your sparge process. So I've been heating in my kettle my sparge water to 75 Celsius. So once this is finished draining out, I will start adding my sparge water. So I'm slowly pushing down this mesh filter to meet the top of the grain, ready for the sparging. You can hear it still draining down into the kettle, so just wait for it to finish. Okay, so I'm using a jug to sparge. It says 1 to 2 liters at a time. Don't go above the little handles on the mesh filter. So let's start. I've put the stopper on the overflow pipe because I want all of this sparge water to go through down the grain. So that's the first 2 liters. So track progress. I think 1 liter, 2 liters. That's quite handy because when you're loading up 14 liters with a jug, you can easily forget how many you've put in. So very handy. Okay, so apologies, I missed the videoing when it just started to boil because it was panic stations. It almost boiled over, so I recommend when you're doing this, be ready with your paddle to break up all of that foam that forms, because wow, it was right to the top, and I just saved it in time. So I hit start the boil timer. I added my first hops already, and now it is boiling away for the next, I think, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and then at 10 minutes remaining, my second hop additions will go in, and my Irish moss tablet. So yeah, panic stations, but it is boiling quite nicely. This is much better than my kettle would boil on my hob, so it's really good news. So it's recommended that you scrape the bottom, just being careful for the filter. You can see the filter is on this side where the pump is, but you scrape the bottom just to prevent any of that caramel stuff at the bottom, any burning or etc. If it gets all crusty around the element, I'm told that it can get too hot and it will cut out, and then you have to reset it, which is on the bottom of the Grainfather, which is a whole hassle because you can't access it without lifting it up. So just scrape the bottom every now and then just to prevent that from happening. 10-minute hops just gone in, stirring them in. See, 10 minutes remaining. So the 5-minute timer is going off. Got my hops weighed out, get them in there. Give it a stir. Turn that annoying noise off. Okay, so the Whirlpool hops just went in. I haven't yet got a drill for this bit, so I'm literally just whirlpooling with my paddle like this. It's timing it for 20 minutes, so I'm going to try and keep this going. It's not ideal, but it's all I have at the moment. Okay, so the chiller is hooked up to the cold water tap. The hot water part of the hose is just running into the sink. I've put it on top of the Grainfather, screwed in here into this arm, and then I'm just recirculating back in through the top just to get the chiller cold and it going. So I'm going to do this for about 5 minutes. That's what Grainfather recommends. So just feeling for this wort to start getting cool, and then I will transfer it to my fermentation bucket. Alright, that's 5 minutes up, so just gonna turn the pump off. Let that drain out a little bit. I'm gonna move this over to the bucket. There you go. And turn the pump back on. There you go. And I'm going to let it drop from a height so it gives it a little bit of oxidation. Hopefully it's enough. Okay, so I was going for a 23 litre batch size. I've got 19.5 out of the Grainfather, so I'm going to have to change my efficiency, my boil off for my next brew, but it's my first ever brew on a Grainfather, so it's just a learning curve, but hopefully the gravity is not too bad. So my dog is whining, he wants to play with his ball. Alright, the yeast is going in because the temperature is 18 degrees, so it's a good temperature for me, so I'm going to pour this in. And then seal it back up. I'll put this into my fermentation chiller. Try and keep it at around 18 to 19 degrees centigrade for around 5 days, and then I'll raise it up to around 21 degrees.